Joanna Sayo spent 4 years posting "I love you" to her mother on Facebook, while she lived in the house where she hammered her to death. Every year on the second Sunday of May, a beautiful tribute would appear on Facebook. It was a photo of a smiling woman named Evelyn, captioned with words of deep, aching longing. "Happy Mother's Day, Mama," the post would read. "I miss you every day. Please stay safe in Singapore and come home to us soon. I love you." To the neighbors in Cavite, Philippines, and to the relatives following along online, Joanna Rose Sayo was the portrait of a grieving, devoted daughter. She was a young mother herself, left behind to raise a child while her own mother worked hard in a foreign land to provide for them. It was a story of sacrifice. It was a story of love. But in the world of true crime, the most beautiful stories are often built on a foundation of bones. While Joanna's thumbs were busy typing those sweet messages on a glowing screen, her feet were planted firmly on the cold, gray concrete that served as her mother's secret tomb. The truth didn't begin with a grand plan. It began with the mundane, bitter reality of a family conflict in August 2016. Evelyn Sayo was 54 years old, a mother who wanted a different life for her 16-year-old daughter. She was tired. She was frustrated. She scolded Joanna for her choices for her pregnancy at such a young age, and for her boyfriend, Ronald, who had moved into their home. Evelyn wanted Joanna to be a better mother. She wanted her to grow up. But Joanna didn't want to listen. She didn't want to be told how to live. On that hot August night, the shouting stopped suddenly. It didn't end with a slammed door or a period of cold silence. It ended with the dull, sickening thud of a hammer hitting bone. Ronald had stepped out from the shadows, swinging a heavy hammer into the back of Evelyn's head. As she fell, gasping for air, the mercy of a quick end was denied to her. Seeing that she was still breathing, Ronald took a knife and finished the job, stabbing the mother multiple times in the neck until the house fell into a permanent, deafening silence. They didn't panic. They didn't run into the street screaming for help. Instead, they worked with the cold efficiency of monsters. They dragged Evelyn's body through the dirt of the backyard to an unfinished septic tank, a hole in the earth intended for waste, now repurposed for a nightmare. They lowered her in, covered her with soil, and then they did the unthinkable. They mixed bags of cement and poured a thick, suffocating layer over the top, smoothing it out until the ground looked undisturbed. For the next 4 years, that cement became the floor of Joanna's life. She didn't move away. She didn't hide in shame. She raised her baby in those very rooms, cooking meals, watching television, and sleeping soundly, knowing her mother's remains were liquefying just a few feet away under the backyard soil. To her relatives, Joanna was an actress of the highest caliber. Whenever they asked why Evelyn never called or sent money from Singapore, Joanna had an arsenal of excuses. "Mama is too busy. The roaming signal is bad," or "she's still too angry at the family to speak to us." She weaponized a common reality, the overseas Filipino worker, a story so familiar that people wanted to believe it. She used the distance of an ocean to mask the distance of the grave. But by 2020, the Singapore story began to rot. No money had ever been sent home. No flight records existed. The family's dread grew until the police finally arrived with sledgehammers. When they cracked that 4-year-old concrete, the stench of the truth finally escaped. They found Evelyn exactly where Joanna had hidden her. Joanna's last Facebook post before her arrest read, "I miss you every day, Mama." In a way, it was the only honest thing she had ever said. She did see her mother every day. Every time she walked to the backyard, every time she looked at the floor, and every time she looked in the mirror at the face of the woman she had helped destroy. Joanna Sayo is now serving life in prison for parricide. The house in Cavite still stands quiet and still. But remember, you can bury a body, but the earth always finds a way to spit out the truth. Sleep well, if you can.